So as I travel around and speak at events and meet with sales leaders and coach them and work with their sales teams and such, one of the most frequent questions I get is, what are the sales skills that have the biggest impact on results, and what should we focus on in terms of training our salespeople to get better? The truth is there's a lot of ways to approach that question, and there are factors such as motivation, drive, time management, just desire to succeed, ability to have that human relations connection with other people. Those things really matter. But when it comes down to the core selling skills that occur when you're speaking with somebody, either voice to voice or face to face, I think it really comes down to four things that we notice that top performers do better. The first one is that they know how to start a sales call with an effective agenda that is appealing to the person that they're working with or they're trying to sell. So they get the call started off the right way. The second thing is they know how to ask good, effective, relevant questions that reveal bigger opportunities and build rapport at the same time. Really good questioning or discovery skills need to uncover opportunity as they lower resistance. So that's the second one. The third is you've got to be able to close. You've got to be able to ask for the order in an effective way, or at least be able to ask for that next step, whatever that is in a longer cycle sale. And the fourth skill often surprises sales leaders when I talk about this, but I notice this with nearly all top performers that I observe. They have an ability to use summaries in the conversation, in the sales interactions they have, in a very effective way. And that's what I want to talk about here for a moment. So summaries are really critical because they help us to get from where we are in the conversation right now to where we want to go. Whether we want to pivot from the questioning that we just asked into a new questioning area, or whether we want to pivot completely out of discovery and get to a solution, or maybe we want to pivot into a closing question. Or perhaps we've just gotten an objection and we want to pivot into an answer by showing the prospect that we really listened to what they had to say. Top performers use summaries in this way, and it's very effective in the conversation because it shows the prospect or customer that you're listening. So let me give you an example of how I might pivot using a summary to get into an insight to set up a question. First, I'll give you an example of how I might do it when I'm talking about Sales Gym, and then I'll give you an example perhaps in like digital marketing. So in Sales Gym, it might go something like this. So Bill, if I'm hearing you correctly, what you're saying is that you want your sales managers, your frontline sales managers, to do more coaching, but the reality is they're just not doing it. So this insight might be helpful. So in interviews with over 300 sales executives like yourself, they've told us that over 70% of their sales managers are ineffective at sales coaching. So the problem you're having is actually pretty common in sales organizations. So it might be helpful at this point if you could describe to me the kind of coaching you'd like to see your sales managers doing, and then we can talk about the best strategies to get there. So that's how I might do it if I was selling Sales Gym. So if I was selling digital ad marketing, for instance, I was trying to convince a restaurant owner to use us to increase their traffic, especially at happy hour, I might summarize, use an insight, and then ask a question like this. So Bill, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're kind of frustrated because you've done a lot of things to try to increase traffic, but the reality is that Monday through Thursday, your happy hour kind of traffic and walk-in is just slow. Here's something you may find interesting based on some analytics we did before this meeting. Every day between 4 and 7, if you draw a 5-mile radius around your location right here in Santa Monica, 350,000 people between 4 and 7 p.m. are trying to figure out where they want to go for happy hour appetizers to try out a new restaurant. So I guess the question I have for you is, what exactly are you doing right now to reach those people when they're trying to make that decision? So as you can see in both of these examples, I combined a summary with an insight into a question. But the summary is the pivot, and it's really important, and this is something top performers do. So my suggestion to you is, as a sales leader, is start pressing your frontline sales managers to practice this ability to summarize, whether it's used in this way, or it's used to summarize the entire discovery step, or whether it's used to summarize before we go into a closing question. Here's the bottom line though. The more your people use summaries effectively and skillfully in sales conversations, the better results they're going to get. So I really urge you to get your organization practicing and developing that summarizing skill across all the salespeople that work for you.